Hi, name is Richard Ross. I am thrilled to be considered for this highly desirable position. I hope to grow with the company um, as a well-known asset. Okay, um, I've been educated and trained. My whole life has been reoriented towards acquiring such a desirable desirable position as a SAP WM warehouse management consultant. I'm a strong fit for this position because I have a sincere dedication to and willingness to go further and grow with the company. Um, as far as what I will contribute to this business is an attitude of positivity. I am willing to bear the load, and um, I love a good challenge. I seek to have um, a level of strength that has the potential to strengthen others around me. That is to be an asset on all sides and not a liability. And not only that, to uh, uh, promote liabilities in a company to become assets in regards to my coworkers, type of deal. Okay, so the next question is, what are my strengths? I'd say that my one of my biggest strengths is in punctuality. I like to be on time. I like to be early. I like to have a plan set in place to accomplish the task at hand. All right. And with that punctuality comes dependency. I hope to be there on time every time. I like to become part of the ship, so to speak. Okay. Um, Another strength is agreeableness. It's hard for people to work with or to have a growing relationship with anyone that is hard to agree with. I make it my business to find points that I can agree with in all things. Okay. Um, Determination is another strength, as I'm determined to obtain this position as a SAP WM consultant. I'm also determined to grow and learn as much as I possibly can in hopes of becoming one of the most tangible assets as far as employees are concerned. Okay. Another strength is I like to consider myself unmoved or unmovable as a constant, if you will, in times of crises or misunderstanding, or when the team needs to know something or needs someone to be something and there's no one else. I like to always be that 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 reliable source that will not buckle under the pressure. Which leads us to our next question, which is, how do you respond to stressful situations? Well, when dealing with stressful situations, I like to try to find the median, not to be so far on the negative side of the stressful situation, or so far on the positive side of optimism, but as close to median as possible where I can make a highly educated, well informed, precise decision regarding the stressful situation. When in a stressful situation, I do my best to be gentle in speech. Nothing escalates a stressful situation more than stressful language that's unnecessary. When the same points or the same knowledge, information can be communicated through gentle speech, type of deal. Um, Again, I like to define the constants when in a stressful situation and eliminate the variables when in a stressful situation, we don't want to be making decisions based on changing variables, but more so make the decisions based on what is going to continue to be constant. This would be, and this doesn't apply to all situations, but most of the time, in a high percentage, overwhelming percentage, making decisions based on the constants is usually the proper direction to travel in. Okay. In addition to that, in responding to stressful situations, I do my best to avoid extremes. Okay. We don't want to be extreme in any sense of the fashion, but let the responses um, be as close to median as possible. And it's important to respond and not to react to the stress of the situation, because they will come and go, and we like to maintain our integrity throughout. All right. The next question is, tell me about a time that you had to deal with an irate customer. So as an SAP WM consultant, dealing with I'll be dealing with people, teaching them how to use this program. And I understand that there are a lot of different personalities in the field, and at times things can become irate, especially if, let's say, I'm training a manager and his job is in jeopardy and he wants to be sure that he's getting the proper information. It's a potential that he or she can become irate. So I'll tell you about a time when when I was operating as from the owner level of a used car dealership. There was a customer who purchased a vehicle and completed their registration with the said dealership that I was operating in ownership of. And the customer was concerned because they received their license plates, but they did not yet receive their title. Okay. This customer was under the impression that their title and their permanent license plates would come at the same time, but it was clearly communicated to the customer that their title would follow the plates by approximately 3 weeks. And they also had the opportunity to have the title expedited for a fee, which they declined to do. So when their plates came, they expected the title to come at the same time under some assumption, and it didn't happen. So the customer became irate, and I use the term irate loosely because it's a state of mind. It's important not to consider a person as being irate, but being as the customer being reasonably agitated. Okay, and it can happen to anyone. So in dealing with this customer, I simply sat them down and explained to them the process of registration, and that they receive their title, in X amount of days, given the traditional time span, and that the title always follows the plates, within 3 weeks of time. And if they want it, they can call back or stop by to follow up with the dealership at any increment of time that they were comfortable with, and also that we'd like to hear from them when their title did arrive. And if for some reason it took longer than this time, that we would call the Secretary of State and and report the missing title, and we take full responsibility of acquiring a replacement. Okay. All right. And the customer was happy, and of course the title came when we said it would, and all is well that ends well. Okay. The next question is to describe a time when you worked effectively under pressure. I understand that as a SAP WM consultant, that it is highly likely that I'll be in high pressure situations as training has to be done in specific time frames, and sometimes a warehouse may have to be reorganized, and these things take time, and with time comes pressure. Okay, with time constraints comes pressure. So I'll give an example again of when I was in ownership of a dealership. I was purchasing vehicles from an automobile auction, and this is an extremely high pressure situation that I would undergo multiple times weekly. Okay, so when in these environments, there would be other gentlemen such as myself that would search for and purchase vehicles, and the competition of acquiring the vehicles was each other. So sometimes there was up to 100 buyers. Sometimes there would be a handful of buyers, maybe 10 or so. All right. And depending on the knowledge of the vehicle, some buyers would spend more than they should or spend less than they should. And there's an extremely fine line between purchasing a vehicle for what it's worth or purchasing a vehicle for more than what it's worth. And the pressure comes in because this auction, the auctioning of one automobile happens as fast as 30 seconds, and a vehicle's price can go from $1,000 to $20,000 in that 30 seconds. So, it's important for the buyer to know their limits before they get into a bidding war, so to speak. Okay. So, how did I function effectively under this pressure? Well, simply put, I did my homework. I was punctual. I showed up on time. I inspected the vehicles. I evaluated how much the vehicles were worth, what issues the vehicle may have, their resale value, what they're likely to sell for at the auction, what I've seen other vehicles in a similar category sell for at the auction. So I knew my prices, and I would always stay calm and alert and understanding what the auctioneer was doing, and I go forth confidently and perform what I needed to perform. And in doing so, I was always able to acquire vehicles, good vehicles, and minimize any loss during the entire my entire career in ownership of a dealership. And the final question comes to a question that I have for you, the employer. And the question that I have is this, and in researching on the website and what I could with the organization, I did not find any information in this category. So I figured I'd ask this question now. It's a goal of mine, a major goal of mine. The question is this: are there employer-supported learning opportunities for a deepened understanding of the SAP program in warehouse management and abroad? And the reason that I ask this question is because I want to grow and I want to learn as much as I can and be a growing asset within this company, so that wherever there is a void, I may fill the void, and helping this company become more profitable, to have a deepened stability, and be a successful and comfortable, increasingly successful and comfortable working environment for myself and my peers. It's been a pleasure undergoing this interview, and I'd like to thank you for your time and for the opportunity. Take care.